you doing? Welcome back to the Community Podcast here on Big Condo Online. I am your host, Chase Johnson Lynch, and please like and subscribe because I know we don't come out every week, but we always try to hold back till we get someone special in with us. And that is happening today. We have a good old friend who used to be on the original community podcast shows when we were at Condor Online. And this is my good friend, Sean Liddell, who is the man behind MHFA, Mental Health First Aiders Program. How you doing, Sean?
I'm great, thanks. I'm great. Yeah, it's really great to be here. Good to pick back up after so long.
Well, no, definitely. I mean, not to be obvious about the lead, Mental Health First Aider. I don't know when Mental Health Awareness Week has passed, but as we often say, it's more than a week. It's every day.
Yeah.
And obviously you know this because of what you've been experiencing over the past 2 to 3 years. Sean's kind of like, 2, 3, 10. But well, first of all, before we talk about Mental Health First Aider, let's just find out like what led you to creating such a, shall we say, call it a program and everything. Who were you before and what led you into being this forerunner into mental health?
Right. Okay. It's quite interesting. I was leading just what I thought was a normal average life. Worked for the banks, was commuting between Liverpool, Birmingham and Manchester, all over the country. And then was made redundant, along with most other people, in 2008 when the world crashed. And then I found it really hard to get a job. In fact, I couldn't. And I spent 2 years out of work. And so I experienced depression.
Yeah.
So I had depression for about 12 to 18 months or so. It's tough to look back on. It's tough to say, it started here and finished then. No idea about that.
It was all a blur.
Oh, completely. Like a fog. I was just completely foggy. But what that did was it enabled me to, with the help of some other people and one key person, come through that and find what makes me happy, because being a banker didn't make me happy. That's not what I am. It's not what I was meant to do. So that enabled me to kind of look at what can I do? What am I good at? What can make money at the same time, and what can I build a career in, and find out what makes me. And what I found out was that I like to help others. That's what makes me happy, just helping people. So that's where we started, and then we've gone on through 10 years of finding out about emotional intelligence, moving into the mindfulness sector, practicing, being trained in all of these arts and skills, and then moving into finding mental health first aid, which is a global accreditation. It's in 25 different countries, and thinking, well, that's a program that is of value, that can really help affect people's lives and create mentally healthy workplaces. And so that's what I've decided to really, really focus on.
And I mean, basically, what's intriguing to me is how it's calling it mental health first aid or first aiders, because it's like, when one administers first aid, it's like it's to support, something that's broken.
Yeah.
Something that needs healing.
Yeah.
And everything. So to add the prefix of mental health in front of that, it's like, this is a way of healing or supporting people who are feeling overwhelmed or about to succumb. Am I pretty much right on that?
Absolutely spot on. And that's it. So it's just like physical first aid. When we seek out physical first aid, we can go to the doctor or see somebody in your workplace. It's because you've got a splinter, you've broken your arm, you've done something, and it tends to be the same with mental health first aid. But what we are aiming to do is go towards prevention rather than cure.
Really?
So with mental health first aid, what we train people to do is to spot and signpost symptoms. Not diagnose or treat. So we're not training people to be counsellors, therapists or anything, but it is about being there if somebody wants to approach you, but being able to approach somebody if we do indeed spot something.
Yeah.
And then have that conversation.
Now, is this like, because the program that you were putting on, it's to train other people to be first aiders, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, because you find yourself, look, I want to help, and you found another crash this past year, right?
Yeah.
And everything. And like you kind of like the one man in a boat.
Yep.
You know, one man in a lifeboat.
Yeah.
You know, you want to tell us about like how the pandemic crash had affected you and your business?
Yeah, that was after crashing in 2008, of course. Then we get the pandemic.
I wonder what you mean by crash, bro.
Whoa.
This is a crash.
Yeah.
This is worlds colliding crash.
Yeah, we thought 2008 was bad, and then suddenly we get a virus, and that just shows us what's bad. So it's all levels. So yeah, in 1 week, and I remember it distinctly, in 1 week in March, I just got phone call after phone call saying, sorry, you know, lockdown, we're going to have to suspend the training, and we had a record year on. We had bookings all the way through the year, and literally everything went. So I had a decision as to what to do. You know, do I become an Amazon delivery driver, Tesco delivery driver? Because we thought it was going to be, 3 to 6 months, so it'd be a nice little holiday.
Yeah.
Of course, it hasn't turned out that way.
No.
And the decision I made was to go online, to switch everything virtual for myself, and then to persuade our clients, which they did, and they came back really quickly. So about May or so, everything started coming back online. But at that point, to keep me busy and to keep me sane and to give me a focus, I started doing well-being sessions for key workers. So we still had people going out and doing carrying out their roles in society, social workers, looking after people at risk, kids at risk. I'm involved with several organisations like that up and down the country. So I started doing voluntary well-being sessions where I take a day and do about 10 or 11 half-hour well-being sessions over the phone, where I could do the mental health first aid training, spot and signpost, and just help people. And sometimes it's just listening. Sometimes it's just listening to people and just being able to get those words out.
I find it, that is mainly what people need.
Yeah.
I have, participated in counseling training myself, and, there's a big difference between active listening and reflective listening.
Yes.
And when people like when you're having a chat with your mates, right? You'll find that a lot of people want to keep that what you really want to say inside because they feel they will be not even heard at all.
Yeah.
And then so, it's kind of like, hey, how you doing, Bob? I'm not really doing that. Okay, well, see you later, Bob. What? So to be able to have the opportunity to speak to one of your first aiders in that case, where they're probably because how do you stop yourself from giving advice? And do you think that's the thing to do or not to do? Mm-hmm. So that's what I mean by reflective listening.
Right. Okay. Great. Great question. And this absolutely forms part of the training, because we're not teaching people to give advice. We're not teaching people to be the therapist, the counsellor, the GP. Our job is to spot and signpost. So it is absolutely about listening, and it's about listening to the words, excuse me, how people say them. So we're looking and listening for all of those reactions so that we can pick up on something and then signpost to appropriate professional help, whether it's the GP, whether it's the employee assistance program, if they have it, whether it is a counsellor or a therapist. But yeah, we're not there to give advice. We're not there to say, yep, that's broken, we know how to fix it. We're there to say, well, this may benefit you, and here's the details.
Yeah. And 1,000 well-being sessions, that's not a lot. But what I'm just curious about is like in some of these sessions, like you were talking about, you have group sessions.
Yeah.
And you obviously, you yourself do one-to-ones in those sessions.
Yeah.
And I'm used to being in those kind of rooms, because it's a lot of people, hey, I'm not touchy-feely, man.
Yeah.
But if you go into those rooms, that's what you're doing. You're going in to be touchy-feely. And I'm curious if you could go in a little bit more about this Suicidal Pact that you encountered, because, that's got to be deep, to someone to just, this is what I'm thinking about, and my partner too. So could you just share that story?
Sure, yeah. So this was for an organisation that's not in Liverpool. And I was doing a day of wellbeing sessions, and just a normal conversation with somebody. It starts out normal. They're a social worker, and then halfway through, I'm hearing something, and I'm not sure what's going on, but I know there's something that I need to delve deeper into. So just asked a couple of key questions, which we use to sort of give authority for the person to really open up to us. Excuse me. And so she did, and then she started telling me, and I just shut up then because she was away. As soon as she started, she was away, which was great. So she started saying about her and her partner. Her partner had attempted suicide 2 nights ago. They'd managed to get the medical intervention, and then she was okay, and then she was out of hospital, came home. And then the previous night, so the night before I'm speaking to her, she and her partner had lay in bed and had discussed their suicide pact. So how they were going to do. So they were doing their plan, their suicidal plan. So how they were going to do it and when they were going to do it. So that had all been agreed, and I was having the conversation with them in between. So I ended up getting another phone. Getting her authority, getting her okay, which I would have done anyway, but it's important to give the person options and control as much as possible at that time. And she agreed, and it turned out that she was in the care of the mental health crisis team for this area. So she gave me the number, I contacted them, we managed to have a 3-way conversation. The crisis team came out, made the intervention. And this is the hard part of being a mental health first aider, because after that was okay and we got the okay for me to step away, then that's me. I'm gone. I have to walk away, and I have to be okay with that as a mental health first aider. I do not revisit. That's not my job. She's in much more capable hands. She's in the professional help that I, as a mental health first aider, have signposted her to.
You're like Sidney Poitier in The Slender Thread. One of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember this one, but he had to. He was at a crisis center.
Yeah.
His first night.
Yeah.
You know, he was on his own. The doctor had left, and he got a call from Anne Bancroft. You know, who was taking pills.
Yeah.
And was going to commit suicide, and
Right.
he had to keep her talking, keep her on the phone.
Yep.
And it was such a beautifully done film because they never saw each other. They were only connected by, the phone.
Yeah.
And he had to keep her talking until they could find her. And then when they finally found her and, we managed to rescue her and stuff like that, the doctor said, do you want to see her? He's like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, what?
Yeah.
But it's like what you just said. It's like, I have a role.
Mm-hmm.
And you did your part. You got them to the crisis person and everything else like that, and that's your job there.
That's it,
and everything, and it must be hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sometimes it is. And again, as part of our training, it's really important that for our mental health first aiders, we train them to be able to look after themselves. Self-care is the most important thing.
Oh man, I wish somebody.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So you can imagine after having conversations like this, which you will have as a mental health first aider, they will come. It's important that the person seeks support as well.
Yeah.
And so we have our own networks and methods. Just recently, one of my counsellors, I've had a couple of sessions with her, marvellous Martine Gibson. I don't know if you've heard Martine Gibson. She's someone that you need to speak to as well and have here. She's brilliant. Ready, set, go.
Yeah.
She's an incredible counsellor. And because I was feeling after a year of this was about February. We've come away from December lockdown. We're into this new lockdown, but we've got nothing to look forward to. The weather's awful, and I'm feeling overwhelmed. Business is great. Everything's going through the roof, but I just couldn't see the wood for the trees.
No.
And I absolutely felt that I was going past my triggers. And so, that was it. Straight. Talk to Martine, offload, get her counselling, couple of sessions, fantastic.
Well, I was going to drop in this funny question. Who counsels the hero? Everybody's looking for a hero. Everybody's looking for Superman to come save them.
Yeah.
Who Superman got to look to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Isn't that important though?
Yeah.
I can't save people every day. what's up, man?
Yeah.
It's a heavy load to carry and stuff, But a lot of people never tend to realize that, do you think? Because it's kind of like, hey, you seem to have it all sorted. You seem confident and assured of yourself and everything. It's like, dude, I am broken inside.
Yeah.
I am so broken inside.
Yeah.
But,
well, showing vulnerability is an absolute superpower.
So, you know what? I got to tell you, the nail on the head is as like vulnerability versus masculinity, which is stronger.
Yeah. Oh wow. Showing, accepting your vulnerabilities. That's what makes you strong. That's what makes you truly strong.
Exactly.
So it's just like the bamboo.
Oh, what about the bamboo?
The bamboo will withstand. It will bend in the breeze. It will bend in the wind.
Oh, you mean like a cedar?
There. Oh yes.
Yeah, cedar bends.
Yeah.
I guess the bamboo does too. But I've heard the story of it. All right. I heard the story of being about a cedar, but definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
Now wait a minute. So after all of this work you've been doing, and especially through this pandemic, malaise, that the fog that we've been in, you or your organization has received an award from the Corporate Vision Awards.
Yeah. Want
to tell us how have they acknowledged the MHFA?
But it's came out of nowhere. We didn't even know about it, and we received the Corporate Vision Best Mindfulness Training and Coaching in the Northwest of England for 2021 award. So we feel that obviously we're very active on LinkedIn and we share stories and obviously people talk about us, and it turns out they must have been talking about us a little bit more than we realized.
Yeah, man, that guy over there.
So we just got this. We got this email. You're being considered for. So just give us a little bit of a note about what you've done, what you're up to, and they checked into it all and said, that looks good enough to us, I guess. So tremendous, absolutely tremendous.
Well, and that's deserved as well.
It's coming out of where we are now. It really affirms what we have done, the experience that we have been through, we are getting through. And a wee bit of recognition's massive for us. That's part of the human being is to accept recognition, and that's a top motivator, a key motivator for us. So it would be wrong for me to deny this in any which way, and it's just great for me and everybody around me, my team, to be recognised in this way.
So I mean, At this time, I mean, obviously, with the bend down and everything else like that, how many, mental first health aiders do you think you've been putting out in the world?
Oh, that's a good question. Now, if I'd have looked before, I could have told you exactly.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, bruv.
No, that's absolutely fine. Well, you've got fantastic organisations like the Money Advice Trust who give debt and finance advice to people who really need it, and they do, and I've trained all of their staff or key people to become mental health first aiders and working on their policies and procedures and everything else. Fantastic organisation, but we've trained about 40 people just in that one organisation alone.
Wow!
Then you've got the open courses and other organisations. I've got about I've done about 2 to 3 courses, bearing in mind they're 2-day courses.
Yeah.
Plus online learning of over a few days. So I don't know. We're talking in the last year. It's definitely a few hundred.
Yeah. I mean, what's amazing about it is it's kind of like the Tower of Babel. Where it's gone out to everywhere.
Yes.
Right. Now, how many, this is another, question off the cuff I should have asked you beforehand, but do you have, a favorite, experience that was relayed to you from somebody who had taken your course? Say, came back and say, oh, wow, this happened.
Yeah.
Like a testimony or something like that from somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, there's... every time, because it's MHFA, it's the only course that's recognised by the UK government and Royal Society for Public Health, so it's very heavily regulated. So feedback is collected, collated, scores are made. I get scored every single time. So it's brilliant to look back on that. And sometimes you get some stories. So we do get some stories and sharing, because I share my experience. And that's a bit of a psychological door to open for other people to share theirs. And there are some people, And I've had several where people are in the midst of this part of their journey, recognizing their signs and symptoms. Light bulb moments where they're realizing, Matt, I need to talk. I can I talk to you afterwards? And so we've had loads of stuff where people have been signposted there and then. Some just amazing, powerful stories where, especially when which we've just had in this last year, where people have lost somebody and they've come through the grieving process, and as part of that, they have discovered a part of them that they want to give back, and that's why they're there. So when they share that sort of story, when you get this purpose through the grief, and they're finding a way through this journey and becoming a mental health first aider in order to help other people through their journeys, that just blows you away sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, it's like, it's just that thing, man. A lot of people, feel that whether their past stuff makes them feel bad, or like when they fail, that they feel like undeserving and everything. And I just put a comment on LinkedIn the other day, about how hindsight is something that I look forward to. And then I didn't realize how clever that was. But it's the factor that we're all gonna get fired or lose a partner or skin a knee, right?
Yeah.
But then the thing about it is that sometimes we just have to instead of sinking into depression or wallowing into something because we think this is all that we can do. It's like, maybe if you think about it, it's so it's only after weeks or months later you had that breakup that you needed somebody new.
Yeah.
Or that you've been fired, you get a new job.
Yeah.
And then you find yourself, you know what? I never would have gotten this new job if I stayed at that old one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So thank you for firing me.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to say to all the people who fired me. So last question, Sean, is that the fog seems to be lifting.
Yep.
The light at the end of the tunnel is coming closer. Where do you feel your business model has changed, and where is MHFA moving from here?
Right.
Because there was a lot of changes you said that happened.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So it's a fantastic question, because the pandemic is basically a decade's worth of change in 1 year. So that's what we are experiencing.
Yes.
So what we've done is, it has been the most incredible opportunity for us. We have completely transformed our business model into models. So now we have a startup that we're just starting up now, which is called therapistonlinehub.com. And that's so that we can have loads of different...
It's on your website?
Therapistonlinehub.com. Yep. So it's a website. But what it is it's a collection of therapists, counsellors, psychologists, psychotherapists, also healers, and on the complementary side, loads of complementary therapists, hypnotherapists. Because what we want to do now is, I've been signposting loads of people to employee assistance programs. And then I started looking into how much the counselling is used there, because it's great, I believe in it totally, but you only get 6 sessions for free, so that's fantastic. That's a great starter. But only 14% of employees actually access the counselling through employee assistance programs. Right. So there's huge amounts of people out there who aren't accessing counselling, which can massively help. So this new business we've started, that's to give affordable counselling 24/7 globally, because we've got partners in Southeast Asia. So they wanted it as well. So we've got that starting up. I'm also now a trustee of head of training for a male suicide prevention charity for North Wales in Wrexham. And that organisation is going great. We're now working with the Mental Health Foundation and the Welsh Government as well. So that's called Pwrpas, excuse my poor Welsh translation there, of PWRPAS, Pwrpas. And it's Welsh for purpose.
Of course it is.
So we've got mental health first aid. We've got the Therapist Online Hub, which of course complements what we're doing there, and we can help people to seek appropriate professional support through us as well now. But what I'm also doing next month, which I didn't mention either, is I become one of the first 200 MHFA accredited suicide prevention instructor trainers through the MHFA. So I'll be able to train people to become mental health first aiders and suicide prevention trainers officers as well. Yeah.
That's big stuff.
Yeah.
So let's go down to the social handles, yeah? I mean, where can people, first of all, not only where can people find you as far as MHFFA, what I was asking was that connecting on your MHFA's website. That's
right.
But I understand it has its own. But
yeah.
But also too is that see, look at that. I just messed myself up. So, it gives us your social media handles.
Yeah, okay. Right, so the main website is mindfultraining.ltd. So it's not .com or anything. We just went with the complete company name. So mindfultraining.ltd. We're on Facebook as Mindful Training Ltd as well. We also have a Thursday community called The Happy Moments, and that's a Facebook page, the Happy Moments page. So
and what is that? Is that open to anyone, or?
Yeah, that's a completely open 1-hour Zoom call where we let people share, talk about what's going on, discuss what's going on in the world, but we also explore a happiness technique, a particular happiness technique to help people just try something new to be able to manage their stress or become that little bit happier. So we're starting off at the moment every other Thursday, and that's from 7 to 8. So that's on Eventbrite, and it's on Facebook, and that's the Happy Moments community. So if you search for that, you can find that very easily. And then we're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We're getting going on YouTube, but we haven't been on there so much so.
So what the question I was going to say, and I remember now, is that but I'm assuming you're going to say something else. Is I was going to ask you, if I was interested in becoming a mental health first aider, is it only applied to businesses? Like you were saying that you go to businesses and your classes are made up of that,
Sure.
Or can individuals in a way to sign up?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's really interesting. I run a hybrid model. So yes, we do businesses, but the business has to be big enough, obviously. So we also run open courses. And then you've got so that's for 1s and 2s. So you could come on just yourself if you wanted to. But the great thing about that is what you were talking about before, where you get this real sharing of different people's experience. So it's not just you on your own. You get 10 people or so. I like to run about 10 people in the sessions, not too many. And that way everybody has a voice. And then we have this hybrid model where there's a great company in Widnes called Allpack. And what we're doing there is they've got so many people, 7 or 8 people. But what they want to do is be on an open course with them, with other people as well, so we can have the company sharing of experience because they've got a particular frame of reference.
Yeah.
And then we get these other individuals, just normal people, 1s and 2s like you and I, who will join that as well. So we're going to have that real. I guess that's kind of
cool because they would know the other people in the company, and they might feel a little bit shy in sharing. But then if some other people are in the room with them, then it'd be like, I'd be curious to find out about that person, or that person's story particularly moves me.
Absolutely.
And usually that's what I found when I was doing group sessions, where it's when somebody opens, they turn the leaky faucet.
Yeah, that's it.
And it runs throughout the group.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I got to share next.
Yeah. Once it's on, it's on.
Yeah. There we go. That's our thing. So, Sean, I just want to thank you once again for coming in. It doesn't always just have to be mental health awareness, but I mean, I really enjoy listening to you and hearing what you got to say. As I was saying before, is that mental health awareness should be every day. We should keep the conversation going. That's what I loved about talking to Sean about mental health first aiders, because basically, people being able to talk and share, as well as people being able to listen and respond. I think it's just a beautiful lesson to be learned today. So I'd like to thank you once again for joining us, Sean Liddell from MHFA. I am Chase Johnson Lynch. This is the community. This has been a community podcast here on Big Condo Online. Please like and subscribe. I know I didn't say that enough when I first started. Blake also likes to tell me, don't say that. Just say, ring the bell, ring the bell. Anyway, so like, we're out of here.